Good Monday evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Monday Night Raw Dog. It's just us two tonight. I'm Coach and running the boards, the producer, Big Daddy C. C, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good, man. Just, glad to be home, relaxing, catch up on some wrestling.
Yeah, I'm glad you had a safe trip back home. But did you have a good time with your family though?
Yeah, man, I was able to surprise them on Friday because I went down to Louisville with one of my friends and her family, and they actually had some family that lived down there in Louisville. So we went down there on Thanksgiving morning, came back Saturday afternoon, and then I ended up throwing her a big surprise birthday party. Her birthday is today, so shout out to my friend Kia Glenn. Happy birthday. But yeah, I was able to surprise my family on Black Friday, hang out with them for a few hours. And so it was a pretty good week, holiday weekend for me. How about you?
It was good. Yeah, a lot of family came into town this weekend in Jacksonville, so I got
Okay.
to go over and see them. Pretty much everybody from my mom's side of the family was in, so it was nice
Okay.
catching up with all the cousins, and we
Yeah.
actually busted out the old Nintendo 64 and played some NFL Blitz, and that brought
Oh,
back some
nice,
memories.
nice. Yeah, good thing. One of the best things about holidays, you get to break out some of the old games you grew up playing as kids, man. So yeah, it's definitely awesome.
All right, so this Monday Night Raw, probably one of the best Raws we've had in a long, long time. It more felt like a Raw after WrestleMania kind of night, and just lots of great things. We're going to jump right into it. Kicking things off, CM Punk comes to the ring after his great match in the War Games, calls his shot to WrestleMania, says, I'm going to be main eventing WrestleMania. Well, that brings out Seth Rollins, who is not too keen on CM Punk, and really upset that he teamed up with Roman Reigns in War Games, and even goes on to say, I should have knocked your ass out the same day you came back to WWE. And that starts some brawling between the two. Sami Zayn and Jey Uso come in and they break up the fight. Jey and Sami just trying to play peacemaker. Well, then Seth starts going after both of them. He tells Jey, go back running to Roman like you always do, which got Sami upset, saying, you don't talk to Jey Uso like that. Seth did apologize to Jey, saying, I'm sorry. You guys are family. Like, I get it. I went below the belt. And then he goes to Sammy saying, but what's your excuse for going back to Roman? And that leads to a war of words to where Sammy ends with that monster Roman Reigns. You created that monster. You created that monster when you put a chair in his back 10 years ago. And after that, a match is set for our main event, Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins. See, what do you think of this opening segment?
Man, like just complete fire all around. I was like, all right, we finally getting ready to get on the journey of the CM Punk Seth Rollins feud, like for real this time. And so, I was excited to see it get started back up. Then now you throw in the whole wrinkle, as I predicted. I said CM Punk being on his team was gonna make things make matters even worse for him
Mm-hmm.
and Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins did not like it, even though he was asked to be on the team, and he declined the offer. And so now you throw in Sammy and Jey Uso trying to be peacemakers, and then Seth Rollins pretty much getting mad at Sammy because Sammy was part of the bloodline, even though he turned on them eventually after that. And it's just so many layers to this whole like segment and to everything that's been happening. And so, man, this is definitely one of the best Raws that we could have had all year. So
Yeah, it was a great way to open up the show. And then we kind of take a backtrack. Then our next segment, we get a tag team match, Damage Control, Io Sky versus Kairi Sane versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. I mean, this match, short, sweet, and to the point. I did like that about it. Basically, it was the Raquel Rodriguez show, really dominating. So hats off to her. She pins Kairi Sane with the win and goes after Io Sky for after the match. To which Rhea Ripley comes out trying to save Io Sky, only to be taken down by Raquel Rodriguez the same way that she was taken down before, which was a headshot into the table. And one thing of note from this match, it was revealed that Io Sky will challenge Liv Morgan for the championship on Saturday night's main event. So that is two title matches that we have set now for Saturday night's main event that really getting a good look at how that's going to be. See your thoughts on this match?
Um, I think for the most part, it's good you mentioned that, that it was all Raquel Rodriguez throughout this match. Um, it's good to see that she's starting to get back to that dominant, like Raquel that we saw in NXT when she was like NXT Women's Champion for quite some time. Um, I definitely feel like we need to see that back. None of this like baby face crap, man. Like, because it doesn't always work for certain personas, and I feel like for her, she needs to be a heel character to like get back to those dominant ways. Because like she was a powerhouse. What we see like Rhea do, like we were seeing that with Raquel in NXT. Both of them honestly. And so I feel like we definitely need to get back. She definitely needs to get back to that point. And this is a step in the right direction. But you know what this means, though? Like at some point in time, she's going to turn on Liv Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's bound to happen. So, it's just a matter of when at this point. But I'm glad to see Raquel back. I'm always glad to see Liv Morgan. You know that. Io Sky, she's not going to win that match. And so, yeah, man, I'm just glad the Saturday night's main event is back. It's been a long time, like several years to be exact. Because remember they had their own little main show, a weekly show called The Main Event, which was
Oh
trash.
God.
And when they were doing those like intergender matches, and like it was so cringe, man. I was like, why would y'all turn something that was like a legendary like event like on Saturdays and then you just make a joke of it? So I'm glad that they're bringing it back for real this time. And that we get to see some good high profile matches on the Saturday night card. So hopefully they treat it. Looks like they may be treating it like a pay per view, just without all of the. I don't know if they're gonna have it on. Because doesn't NBC didn't NBC have the rights to that to Saturday night's main event,
Yeah,
or
it's
does
going to be
WWE have?
on NBC.
Okay, it's gonna be on Peacock. Okay, all right.
No,
Or
it's
like
going
the
to be
actual
on
channel that is
actual
going to be on.
NBC. Yes.
Okay, are people going to be able to watch it like and stream it on Peacock too, or?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh, we've lost Coach. Okay, he's back.
Oh.
Are people going to be able to like watch it on Peacock as well?
Yes.
Okay, all right. That's what I figure. I'm like, like people on cable and Peacock should be able to watch it at the same. Okay, all right, cool. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see what happens with this. Obviously, like EO is not going to win, but you never know. It could be a big shocker. She wins it for like a week or two and then loses it. Probably loses it at the Royal Rumble or whatever event is going to come up before that. So. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
All right, and then after the match, we get a backstage segment with Gunther being confronted by Finn Balor, saying that he owes Finn a championship match for saving him from Damian Priest twice, and to which Gunther angrily says no, because you don't deserve anything. All of this is going on. Dom Mysterio's in the back. He's making like faces and hand gestures, like trying to be Finn's hype man. Gunther finally snaps at Dom and says, "Why do you think you're such a big shot?" And then finally says, "You know what, actually? You actually do have a win over Damian Priest, unlike Finn, so I'm going to give you a match tonight." And so we will talk more about that later on in the show. So we move on to our first ever IC women's match for the tournament between Dakota Kai, Katana Chance, and Shayna Baszler. And just as I had predicted, Dakota Kai with the victory. The match, though, just, I mean, nothing crazy. It was okay, but it was more just the um, like I had said last night on the Sunday podcast, is Kai is getting her push because she was one of the few girls that got the video package hyping up herself when she came back. See, thoughts on this match?
Um, yeah. When it comes to anything damage control, I am totally against it. Yeah, I could care less about this match, honestly. She happens to win it all. Win the title, all power to her. I did like her in NXT when she was with Raquel before, and when she was with Raquel. But in regards to damage control, no, I think once she ditches them, I think I'll start to like her more. But while she's with damage control, probably not. So that's my thoughts on it. Sorry, I was looking at looking at this fantasy score in my money league. Guy I'm going against has the Denver defense, and I'm up by like 3 points right now. It's 120 to like 117.
Ooh, yeah,
So it's cutting close.
I lost my fantasy this week by 1 point. I
Oh
lost
man.
119 to 118, and you know why I lost that? Because Chuba
Why?
Hubbard fumbled in overtime.
That man had he ain't, I think he had only think he had 3 points
He did
for the day at all.
2.3. 2.3 is what he got me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But go
Uh,
ahead.
but but I digress. All right. So
Yep.
after that match, we lead into the segment we have been waiting for, the 10 years of New Day celebration. And I mean, just wow with this segment. First off, they come out to the ring together. They have all of the past history of New Day lined up. You got the giant Bootios cereal box. You got Francesca, the trombone out there. And then you even got the old tag team titles from the mid 2010s when they
the
won the first time.
the
You
penny belt,
got,
the penny belts.
yes, the penny belts. And then you got pictures of them celebrating with each other from Kofi Mania, from Woods winning King of the Ring. I mean, you could tell they were soaking it all in. Crowd's hot, they were ready. And, they say thank you to the crowd. Woods and Kingston say, well, you know what? This kind of makes the moment suck a little bit because we talked last night, and especially after last week, we think it's best that we go our separate ways. All of a sudden, Big E's music hits, and huge pop, of course. He's coming out dressed up to the nines in his suit. He comes into the ring and says, "Hey, you know what? I do not want this to end. I I've seen the way you guys have acted. This is not what we're about. So, in order to keep us together, I am going to become your new manager." To which the crowd, again, just explodes. And Kofi and Xavier, they kind of look at each other. And Woods says, um, "You've been gone for 4 years, and now you want to come back?" And they just rip into Big E talking about his neck injury, talking about how he's only been looking out for himself, how he has a desk job that's what he's only good at. He was never a good wrestler. They eviscerated that man and told Big E to get out of the ring, and that they left Kofi and Xavier high and dry for the last 4 years while they were getting defeated, and he was nowhere to be found to help out. They basically kick him out of the New Day, and Kofi and Woods resolve their differences and say it's just you and me, and they have officially turned heel. Not only was that a 360
Whew.
turn, that was a whole 720.
Man, listen.
Because that was
like,
unbelievable. Bravo to that.
like I was watching it on the legal streams, and like right as like it was about to start, getting to that point, like it started freezing. I was like, come on, man. Like, why everybody tuning in. Now you want to start messing up. And so I was like, all right, I need to, if out of everything that I'm catching up on, this is the first thing I need to catch up on. And so when I finally saw it, I was like, yo, like what? And like we go from what happened last week to this. I'm like, it was personal shots thrown everywhere between Kofi and Woods. And then now Big E comes back, and then he's like, all right, I'm gonna be the manager. And then y'all basically just said, F this dude. When Kofi said, so yeah, so you had a neck injury. So what? Like, whoa, what? As if neck injuries are just nothing to just nothing to overcome. Then he started to bring up Stone Cold Steve Austin and Kurt Angle and Edge. I'm like, dang, man, he had to bring the legends into it. I'm like, come on, Kofi. And I was like, man, this is I figured they were going to do a swerve. I didn't think it was going to be this. Like, I thought if anything, it was going to be Kofi just crash out completely. And like, I don't know if it would have turned him heel or not. He probably would have still been face, but I don't know, for it to happen this way, for them both to turn like heel and then they just turn on Big E. I figured this was probably looking back on it, it was probably the best way they could have done it to like, because obviously like everyone was expecting Woods to be the one to turn, like even though he's kind of already heelish in a way, like they was expecting the full turn for him to like just beat the crap out of not only Kofi but potentially Big E as well. And so but the fact that both of them aligned with each other just out of the blue and to say, all right, we're gonna stick together, but we ain't dealing with E no more, was crazy. And I feel like it also gives them an excuse to, I guess, finally write, Big E out of the group. Since it does now look like he's going to be back anytime soon. So I did like the route that they did take, but it definitely was shocking for sure.
Yeah, that was, just bravo for that segment. Like you said, the swerve I was expecting was Kofi turning heel on
Right.
Woods. But I was not expecting them both to turn heel at the same time, and especially on Big E. So, man, what a segment. We move on to our next match, which is, as I mentioned before, Gunther versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio in a non-title match. It started out pretty back and forth. Gunther was more just taking this as a joke. He even at one point patted Dom on the head, saying like, "Hey, you're doing a great job trying to keep up with me." Well, that just fired up Dom, and there was a beautiful false finish to where Dom hit the 619 and then hit the the frog splash. Sorry, I was drawing a blank on that finisher for some reason. And I legit thought like, oh my gosh, he's going to beat Gunther, only for Gunther to kick out at 2.99 for it. Gunther eventually does hit a power bomb for the victory, And then, just as I had said with the Survivor Series match between Priest and Gunther, it's ruined because Finn Balor comes in, starts attacking Balor, and all of this time he hits 3 coup de grace on Gunther, and each time he's looking at Dom, telling him that this is how it's done, which confused me because Dom's the one that's been doing well. I know this is more just to plant the seeds of the breakup, but I just Finn's character is just not selling for me. And one more side note, we actually got a Dirty Dom chant from the crowd. So that means even more. I think the babyface turn for Mysterio is coming soon. See your thoughts.
Yeah, I think yeah, I'm not sold on this gimmick with Finn either. I feel like ever since the Judgment Day kind of took away the typical aura that Finn like Balor had, like, I feel like the Finn Balor we knew before Judgment Day, I feel like it's no longer that same Finn, like that real seriousness. Um, like he's gonna kick ass in the ring every time. He's like, it's gonna be a fight each time you in the ring with him. Just doesn't seem that way anymore. Like seeing him with bandanas and all this other crap. Like I'm like, it just doesn't seem right. And then plus I want to see the Demon Fan back at some
Mm-hmm.
point as well. And I feel like with this Judgment Day thing, it's kind of hard to do. I know he did it once while he's with the Judgment Day, but I want to see it again. But with Finn back as like his normal self and not part of this Judgment Day BS. So he could be a heel, but like not have it like be to the extent that it is now, like all this comedy BS, cowardice shit. Like if you're gonna be a heel, like hey, go all the way. Don't be scared. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, come on now. Look at KO with Cody Rhodes. Same thing. So he's not running from a fight, but at the same time, he still got like those heelish tendencies as well. Like trying
Mm-hmm.
to find a common balance. So I think Finn needs to get back to that point. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
No, excellent points. I agree 100% with
Yeah.
you. After that match, Finn does go to Adam Pearce and brags about what he did to Gunther. Pearce does say, well, I already talked to Gunther. Gunther wants a match with you, and it will be a title match at Saturday night's main event. So right there, we have 3 title matches for that show, and which makes me excited. But also, he said, now next week, I want to have a conversation about you and your other title match, aka the tag team championship, because we forget that they are the tag champs
Right.
because they never do anything with it.
Right.
And so that's the end of that. Before we get to the next match, it's R-Truth versus Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne is doing an interview where all of a sudden we hear somebody yell, "Get the medical team!" And Jay Uso has been attacked backstage, and he is hit on the head. He's saying he's fine, but he's wobbling. So we get left on a cliffhanger there before we go into the next match. This next match between R-Truth and Pete Dunne, um, more or less, more of a comedy match. The whole time the crowd was chanting Butch, which was making Pete Dunne angry. Eventually, Wade Barrett said it on commentary, and Pete Dunne heard it and looked at the commentary desk and started to get angry, only for R-Truth to come up and roll up for the victory, and that was that. So nothing to go home about this match, don't you think,
No.
C?
Yeah, none to really discuss.
Yeah. So then we get to our main event, and before Sami Zayn goes out there, he asks Adam Pearce who attacked Jey Uso, when Pierce says he didn't know, the Sammy said, "No, I need to know who it is." And all Adam Pierce said was, "Well, who do you think it was?" Implying that it was Seth Rollins because of what had happened earlier in the night. That fired up Sami Zayn more and bring it out to the match, and it was a beautiful storytelling match. You could sense the anger between both of them with everything that's been going on. Sammy, at one point, actually grabbed a steel chair and was getting ready to hit Rollins, and Rollins begging, "Don't do it." And Sammy was saying, "Tell me you did it. Tell me you did it, and we end this right now." And Seth says, "I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do it." Like he said, "I didn't do it. Trust me, I wouldn't do that." And then he even said, "Why don't you check on your friend CM Punk?" Like pointing the fingers. And then you can see the conflicting thoughts in Sammy's facial expressions. He doesn't know what to do. He finally puts the chair down, goes up to try and cover Rollins, only for Rollins to roll up and get the victory. After the match, Rollins says to Sammy, he said, "We have no bad blood, but you got to think with your head. Why would I do this to Jay?" And he walks away. Sammy is just left dumbfounded. And as he turns around, a big Claymore is hit, and Drew McIntyre has officially returned from his injuries, and he stands tall over Sami Zayn to to close the show. And beautiful, beautiful execution once again. They started out the show with an A, they finish it with an A. See your thoughts.
Royal Rumble. Well, WrestleMania season is upon us, ladies and gentlemen. Is gearing up. Getting ready to close out the year. Saturday night's main event is going to be the next big show to close out the year. Then next thing you know, we're after that is going to be Royal Rumble season. So everyone's returning. Um, we knew Drew was bound to return at some point. I didn't think it was going to be this soon, honestly. But glad to see him back. Wasn't sure like who he was going to target upon his return. And so looks like Sami Zayn is going to be that guy. And so we'll see what happens from here on out between these two. I think I want to say before the CM Punk thing, it was Drew and Sammy going at it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's good that they bringing that back up for a little bit, and now that will allow CM Punk and Seth to focus on each other, because it looks like that's where we're going to get at Saturday night's main event. That's what I'm expecting. Um, I don't know how it's going to play out, but I'm hoping we get that match. And so yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, you nailed it on the head right there with Drew McIntyre. Before CM Punk came back, Drew McIntyre's beef was with Jey Uso and Sami Zayn because of them being a part of the bloodline. So
Yep.
this is that long-term booking and logical booking that makes sense. Drew's done with CM Punk now. They had their three matches, and now he can focus back on what his previous endeavor was, and that was Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. So again, logical booking, long-term booking. This is what people want, and they are delivering it. And you can. This felt like a WrestleMania season Raw, and I loved every second of it. See, any closing thoughts?
No, man. I thought it was a really good Monday Night Raw. I'm happy because as we get towards the end of the year, get ready to start WrestleMania season. That's when a lot of the storylines start to really come into fruition, begin, and even further develop. And so I'm excited to see what happens from here now that Drew is back. Um, Crash out season continues. Because like Drew got issues with everybody on the main roster, seems like, including Seth Rollins. So he ain't done yet. So who knows? And who knows what's gonna happen, man, next week. Or even on SmackDown, who knows what's next? Because we got to see what's next for the Bloodline too. So so yeah, I'm excited, man. I give it a solid A.
Yeah, I agree with you. A in my book as well. All right, folks, thank you for joining us for another Monday Night Raw Dog. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe all of our content. We have, what are we doing, about 4 shows a week now, Steve?
Yeah, so we got Raw Dog Monday, so it'll be pretty much after Monday Night Raw. And then we got Wednesdays for AEW Dynamite. That's the one I'm hosting on Wednesdays. It's our All Elite recap show. And then Thursday, Mike has his Thursday Impact recap show for TNA. And Friday is Frito's. That's his whole thing, hosting the SmackDown Rebound. That's the temporary name we have until they decide to come up with a legit name that isn't already taken by WWE.
Right.
So and then of course we got our main episode, weekly episode on Sunday nights, where we discuss pretty much all things wrestling, and come up with various topics that you all may, throw in the chats or the comment section. And so we just pretty much discuss all things wrestling on the Sunday pod episode. So just tune into everything. We pretty much posting content throughout the week. So hope you guys continue tune in, and also like, share, and subscribe to the podcast on YouTube. Like us and follow us all on social media as well. So take it away, Coach.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. For Big Daddy C, I'm Coach. We'll see you next time here on Monday Night Raw Dog.